Why are people dishonest? I want to make it very clear that this is the topic of conversation rather than a did he or did he not touch it debate. This is Sean Dyche after his Forest side's 3-0 defeat at Everton. And this is what he said about Everton's second goal.
And then the second one, I'm crying at him, but it hits the ref on the way through. I thought the rules were if the ball hits the ref, they have to stop it. I just spoke to the ref, he said it didn't hit him. We know it did, you can see it, but that's the way it goes.
So Dyche is claiming two things here. One, the referee's a liar, and two, there is conclusive proof because quite clearly, as Dyche incredulously states, you can see it. Now, he said this immediately after the game in the tunnel. Presumably he would have very briefly seen a replay, but I've looked through the footage and I can only find two angles of the moment in question. From this wide point of view, I've zoomed in and a touch simply can't be made out. So let's look at the other available angle. So, having seen these type of things before, half the internet sees it one way and half the other. But having gone over this again and again, I cannot see a touch. But it is quite possible that he has feathered the ball. So if we're being honest, and that is the topic of the video, this evidence is inconclusive. But this is the point. After zooming in and slowing down, we cannot be sure either way. Yet Dyche, who would have briefly seen this footage without those benefits before going on air, stated categorically that you could see it, while insinuating that the referee is a liar. But it gets even more interesting because I also found this quote in the press conference later on. He says the second goal as well. It hits the referee and diverts the ball into his path. Now, if you don't know what a diversion looks like, let me enlighten you. This is momentum, and when momentum hits an object, it diverts into a different direction. And if this is your path, then according to Dyche's thinking, this wasn't on your path, but with a diversion, now it is. And yet, if we look at the footage again, we can see that the Forest player loses the ball, and the ball is now directly in the Everton player's path. What happens next bears no relation to a diversion. Even if we assume the referee touches the ball, it really would be just a feather, and the ball maintains its trajectory in a straight line in the Everton player's path. So what we can deduce from this quote is that this is typical of the kind of bias that people hold when making their case. Firstly, Dyche exaggerates what he's seen, and later on, as time's elapsed, he's replayed the incident in his mind and invented a diversion that simply never existed. This is the sort of thing that happens all the time in eyewitness accounts, but the fact that he makes these claims with such confidence on a public stage when the whole world has access to the footage is remarkable for a man who's built a brand around honesty and no nonsense. And this is why, when somebody tells you they've seen a ghost, you should always take it with a pinch of salt.